Okay, so on this video I want to talk about the relationship that you have with the brain and the relationship you have with the voices in your head, because your brain will talk to you. There's parts of the brain that are there to keep you safe. And I became aware of the whole link between dangerous situations or situations that the brain perceives to be dangerous. The relationship between that, the voices in your head, and the adrenaline that you feel in the body. And I looked into this when I was gearing myself up to take part in my first speaking event. So I was going to be getting up on stage in front of people to speak of facing your fear. And the irony is that I was actually facing my fear because I'd never done anything involving giving a talk in front of people. So there's that whole thing of, what if I need to pee? It seems to stay with me. So I read a book about giving public talks, and there was a section in this book talking about how when you're faced with a situation where there's loads of people looking at you to deliver something, you feel under threat. And one idea behind how that could be so is your brain is looking out for potential threats, potential predators. So if you've got loads of people looking at you, your brain doesn't know whether they're looking at you as though you're their dinner. So it's going to try to keep you safe, and one of the ways it does that is to secrete adrenaline. So if need be, you can either fight them or leg it in the other direction. Now, the author recommended that you thank the brain for doing that. So when I was doing the talk, the adrenaline started to kick in. Actually, it was kicking in before I'd even got up on stage. And I was on stage, and I like to use my hands when I'm making a point. So I was going like this, and this hand I noticed was trembling. I don't know how visible it was to the audience, but I could certainly feel it. But because of what I'd read beforehand, internally I laughed. I actually did kind of laugh during the talk, and that was gold that I could have used. I could have said to the audience, hey, I'm laughing because my body's secreting adrenaline and it's making me a bit shaky. It was a great opportunity to do that, but it was an opportunity missed. But nonetheless, it helped me to continue with my talk, because internally I just acknowledged the brain. I thanked it, thank you for keeping me safe. I understand that you're just doing what you believe you need to do to keep me safe. Now, that's going to work a lot better for you than feeling like you're fighting against the brain, feeling like you're fighting against those voices, because when you fight against those voices, that's when you get more entangled in them and you get dragged down by them. You want to include the shadow aspects of your personality. So it's really a case of inclusion, not exclusion. So we all have fragmented parts of ourselves, and a lot of it can go back to childhood. We want to befriend the ego, not kill the ego or get rid of the ego. It is an aspect of us, but we just need to acknowledge it for what it's doing, because it's trying to keep us safe, and we want to let it know that its wants and needs will be taken into account. Because if you start to go out there and do something a little bit risky, my example being giving a speaking event, the ego is going to kick up a fuss. It's not going to like that. It's not going to like your decision to go to the party if you've not been out for a long time. It's not going to like that. It's going to come up with all kinds of excuses why you shouldn't do it. So you're going to hear yourself say, I'm not ready for this yet. Or you'll make some other kind of excuse. You know what, I don't really like parties anyway. Which may be the case, not everyone is keen on parties. But if you know that this is something you'd like to do, you would like to spend time with those people, or even if it's a workshop, an IPA workshop. I've talked myself out of going to workshops in the past, and I went along with those voices. So if you notice it doing that, just let it know and strike a bargain with it. I'm talking about those voices that attempt to keep you safe, that keep you in your comfort zone. Strike a bargain with it. Say, look, I know you're trying to keep me safe, but I want you to just ease up 10%. Let me show you that we can do this, and that actually facing the fear is going to be more worthwhile than remaining safe. I'm looking for a win-win situation. I'm always going to take your perspective into account. This is going to work for both of us. So develop that kind of relationship with yourself, and that's when you become really comfortable with yourself. You're comfortable with all aspects of yourself, including your paruresis, and that can begin a journey of nurturing yourself, nurturing your own wants and needs. Paruretics, we're our own worst critic, and because we criticize ourselves, we assume that other people have secret criticisms of us. When we feel negative about ourselves, we assume that other people feel the same way about us, and it's often not the case. People who really love us, they continue to love us even when we're not loving ourselves. So hope you got something out of that video. The brain, it's just doing what it believes it needs to do to keep you safe. The more you take risks and get out there into the world. I'm not saying you have to step into the lion's den. You take it step by step. The more you start to do that, the more the brain realizes it doesn't need to secrete adrenaline every time you need the toilet. Hope you got something out of that. Catch you later.